Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Good evening. How you doing?
Hi, everybody.
How are you?
Good. Good. How are you? Good.
How are you feeling?
Thank you for. I feel great. You know, this is my first campaign. Somebody said, "What were your expectations?" I said, "I expected to learn a lifetime of understanding about politics and this great state and this country and how they work together and how they don't." And no better place than California, where I first came here in September 1st of 1969 and fell in love with it. And, you know, I've raised my family and built businesses and worked with charities. And now I decided that it was time for me to stand up and another voice in California.
What have you learned over the past several months?
The will of the people. You know, where the people have been over this, not only this last year, but I would say over the last maybe 4 to 6 years, and to feel the struggle that they've been under, and I'm their neighbor. It's the same way with me too. And to have walked around the state, especially for the first 3 months before I announced, to really talk to the people from Southern California, Central, Northern California. I've asked them, tell me about your life. And for usually 15 to 20 minutes, 30 minutes, they would tell me how difficult it is each day for mom and dad to try to break even each day, knowing they'll probably lose some money, and to struggle with saving and maybe the best schools for their children. So it's been well worth the journey. This is chapter 1. I think that I've kind of got the bug now to go from a win tonight to going into the Senate and making a difference.
That brings me to my next question. Win or lose, will politics be a part of your future, Mr. Garvey?
Well, serving the people will be part of my future. As you know, I played baseball for 20 years and built teams and successes, even World Championship in '81, which was matched this year by the great Los Angeles Dodger team. And I think what I learned from the currency of the people is to have taken that and now to apply it to serving the people in as many ways as possible. And the first step has been to run for the U.S. Senate. And, you know, Tommy Lasorda never took me out of the game for 7.5 years. And Adam Schiff is going to take me out of the game now. So I'm excited about tonight.
What are voters talking to you about?
Right.
Where's your confidence level when it comes to the polls and all that stuff, what the results might be tonight?
Well, I always wanted to be up when the game was on the line. Bottom of the ninth, bases loaded, down by a run. I wanted to be up at the plate, even if it was facing Hall of Fame pitchers. And I think I've shown over the last year that I've stepped up in every different situation that a politician could face, and got a deeper understanding. You know, in the beginning, I think most of you thought, well, his policies aren't very deep. And I think over time, you've seen our policies on my website. Not only do we have the policies and understanding, but a depth of how to pay for a lot of these things. And, you know, I said in the last debate that my competitor, Adam Schiff, has 13 or 15 policies, but it doesn't have a way to pay for them. And we call that shiflation, I think. So, you know, we're on our way now. We can't wait for tonight. Like I said, very optimistic. And why not have a doubleheader with the Dodgers winning the World Championship and myself winning the U.S. Senate?
We haven't seen much of you on the airwaves.
Yeah.
Do you think that was a tactical error?
Oh, no, I really have been out there. I think running for office in 2024 may be different than what it was 4 or 10 or 12 years ago. That the way to reach the people now is Steve Garvey 1.0 and Steve Garvey 2.0. I needed to go out and face the people. And we've used social media, digital media. We've been in national news, local news. So I think we've covered all the bases in reaching people. You know, you can imagine the depth from starting at zero and trying to reach the people who get up in the morning and turn TV on, people that get up at 4:30 and go to work and maybe turn on the nightly news, and people who don't care that much. So it took a long time to be able to get the depth of people understanding that I was running for office. And a few of them thought I was running for governor, and a few of them thought I was running for state senator. And you know, but that's part of California. You can imagine, though, that how I feel about the people standing up and coming up to me and saying, Steve, thank you for running. God bless you. We haven't been involved because we didn't think we could make a difference. You know, when you wake up in the morning in California, you look out in this fabulous state with all these resources, arguably the greatest state in our republic, and it's easy to have a malaise and say, oh, it'll change. Well, it's not going to change in California unless somebody stands up and talks about common sense and compassion and consensus building. And you know, we've really talked to the Christian community too. Only 35% of Christians have traditionally voted, and we're getting them to stand up and say, now we have somebody that is of faith and we think will be, you know, somebody who we can get behind. Same thing with Latino community. I mean, the Latino community has been taken for granted, and we really put together a good media program where we spent $5 million on reaching Latino and Hispanic community in Spanish. And they're standing up and saying, we know this Steve Garvey, know him for 50 years. There's a currency of friendship. They're Catholic like I am. You know, baseball sure is a factor, but their cost of living, quality life, is what's more important. And that's what I want to help them with. I want to help them to be able to pay for their needs and save money and be able to put their kids in a good school so that their children, the Hispanic children, are the leaders of the future.
Can you talk about the difficulty of threading the needle in a blue state like California that hasn't had a Republican senator in more than 30 years, yet many of your policies are a lot like the former President Donald Trump's policies, although you did not endorse him, he did not endorse you. Can you talk about threading that needle?
Well, you know, I think we've talked in the past about my mentor being Ronald Reagan, and I used to introduce him, you know, towards the end of his campaigns. And I remember asking him one time, I said, Mr. President, what are your core beliefs? And he looked at me, he used to call me Stephen. He said, Stephen, it's God, lower taxes, smaller government, and the pursuit of happiness. And I always thought that that really is the foundation of this country, and I've used that. And his policies were the same way. Free market capitalism, supply side economics, putting money in the pockets of people. You know, and what he said too is, let the people reinvest in America. And they can't do that now. And that's what I've tried to convey is to get back to Washington. Let's work on the policies that are going to get back to releasing energy in this country, which probably was the single most devastating thing to the economy and what started this economy of inflation and suppression of the people.
Can you talk a little bit about your day, just overall, you know, what it's looked like, and then talking about tonight, how are you going to, you know, just get the outcome?
Well, we've had a great campaign team. I'm very blessed to put together a team of about 6 people who really understand politics, know the state, know it nationally. And we decided to do a couple of things that are unique, be on the ground more, to go out and actually talk to the people like I mentioned, to do sophisticated metrics of digital reaching people, and then using a lot of earned media. I mean, that's what the power of having a recognizable name and voice can do. So I've been blessed to be able to do all those 3 things, and honored to have gotten to the point by literally winning the primary to help the down ticket. There's probably 5 or 6 races where good men and women probably wouldn't be running now unless my voice resonated. And you know, this is a jungle primary. It's not a Republican, not a Democrat. It's the top 2 voice getters. So you can imagine if I didn't get through the primary as the leader of this party, that probably Katie Porter and Adam Schiff would be talking about their progressive ideas, and there wouldn't be a conservative voice to give the people hope. So this morning was interesting. We walked the streets of El Paseo. This is my home in the Coachella Valley, and people yelling from cars, "Garv, you're going to win," and just coming up and being supportive. And we've done national media and local media. And thanks for all of you knowing that this is my home in the Coachella Valley for coming here too. So.
Steve, do you feel like you can leave it all on the field, so to say? How are you feeling?
Well, as I did in baseball, we left everything on the field. I think if you were to talk to people who understand politics, and they've told us from Washington to Sacramento that they've been very impressed with the campaign we've run. And this probably could be a kind of a test case in college and universities on running a very unique campaign, a campaign that's constantly renewing to a conservative message that resonating to people that not only are Republicans, but independents, disenfranchised Democrats, the Hispanic community, and so forth. So we have built a platform. I think that's the beginning of change here in California. And it's been an honor to be able to help that down ticket, to raise them up. You know, good men and women have been told you can't run in the state. There's no way you can win. And now they realize if Steve can do it, that they can do it too. And I think you're going to start to see change in California. And it'll start with tonight and a victory.
I have a question.
Sure.
What's your message to voters tonight if the presidential election doesn't go one way or the other or go their way? Do you have a message to folks on how to react to that?
Well, I think it's important to, and I've preached this, and I say preach that because civility is, I think, part of the catechism of life, and that we've got to get back to civility. We've got to get back to respecting each other. And I said when I go back to the Senate, I'll go to each of the 99 senators' office, stick out my hand and say, I want to work with you for the best interest of your state and the country. And I think we need to do that. Regardless of what happens tonight, you will see Steve Garvey as you expect. And that is to accept victory and defeat, but continue to preach and to talk to people about where California needs to be in the future. We're never better than when we have two voices in the state. And now it's a one-party state and it suppresses the other voices.
You're back on the ballot for the Hall of Fame. What does that feel like?
Be a great double header or triple header with Dodgers winning. It's nice to be on the ballot again, and this seems to be the era that's the sweet spot of my career. So I would be honored to represent baseball in the Hall of Fame. Good.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it. Bless you all.
Yeah, have a
Thank
good
you.
night.